Good morning, everyone, and welcome to RevUP number 11. We're getting on the downhill slide here, guys. We have this class and one more, and then everyone will have finished the series. So that's good. We do, if you attended all 12 or if you did the makeup, I know Lily's really good about doing the makeups, watching the classes after the fact. You will get a certificate on this, a certificate of completion. So if you have anything you haven't made up, I'll remind you again at the end. But if you have anything you have not made up, you missed any classes, let me know and tell me something about the video, and I'll give you credit for it. So, okay, we're going to talk today about working with sellers, winning the listing, and negotiating the sale. I have a lady that she walked in off the street the other day. She's with a company called Upstage Homes. Her name's Jeanette Campbell. She was going to be our special guest today, but unfortunately she had a death in the family, but she was able to come into the office and do a video to kind of tell us about her company and her business. So I have it uploaded in here. It's a little bit of a long video, but we're going to watch part of it at least. And if you need to see the whole thing, I do have it and I can share it with you. So, and it was kind of crazy.
Good morning, everyone.
We had
we're going to have to
difficulties.
record our special guest this week. She's not going to be able to make it to our class. So just wanted to take a few minutes and introduce you to Jeanette Campbell. She's going to go through a quick PowerPoint for us, and I will have her take it over from there. So bear with me a second. You know me in technology. We're going to pause the.
I hope y'all can hear the sound on this.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jeanette Campbell, and thank you for taking time to listen to my little presentation. I'm sorry that I won't be here to see you in person next Thursday, but I would love to offer to meet you for a cup of coffee sometime where we could talk about any upcoming listings you have and what I might be able to do to help you with.
All right, I don't remember this freezing like this before, so bear with me.
So here's a quick introduction of me, and then we will get down to learning about my home staging services. So my background as I'm an ag student, I got the great opportunity to live in this French country home that was built in 1481, and that was the start of my interest in design. And I loved living and seeing the way that the French decor worked and how the architecture withheld 500 years of use. So and being a Campbell, my husband and family and I, we've been to the Campbell Castle in Scotland. So I still love to visit homes, and I'm a mom of 3 boys. And in my former life, I was a Mary Kay Senior Executive Sales Director earning 4 cars. So that's a long time ago, but that's who I am. And my only daughter is a dog who does champion nose work. I've been a military wife for 32 years. And so military life means lots of moving. So at one point we lived in 5 states in 6 years. And so I came up with methods to quickly sell the houses, because at one point we had 2 weeks before we needed to move. So I started staging even before staging became a thing. So people ask today, you know, people are buying the home, they're not buying the stuff inside. So why should I spend money on professional staging? Well, I believe it elevates your personal brand and represents you as an agent. You know, you always want to look better than your competition, and having a beautifully staged home gives you that complete listing, a full service package. You want your photos to be delicious, and you want to justify the price. So statistics show that staging will help you reduce your days on market. and can increase the number of showings. And staged homes tend to sell for more than 17% above asking industry-wide, and 2 to 8 times faster than marketed non-staged comps. So as you know, the key elements of home staging are to depersonalize and declutter. I tell clients that the moment you sign that listing agreement, this is no longer your house. There's a way you dwell in a house, and there's a way you sell while you live in a house. So that's 2 different looks. So I help clients update decorative elements, and we focus on room function, or we identify a strange area and give it a purpose. We minimize the flaws and we make the spaces look better. I always tell clients the cost of staging will always be less than your first price reduction. So think of that, you usually don't reduce a house $500, a couple $1,000. You usually do in $5,000 and $10,000 increments. So my theory is start with delicious photos right out of the gate and maximize and have the shortest days on market possible. Some people say, oh, it's an empty home. People can see the possibilities, but selling an empty home is like having a smile with a missing tooth. A nicest house looks best for sale when it's professionally staged. So staging prepares for picture perfect photos. I say that we need to make your house look delicious in a thumbnail. So people look for homes at night in their jammies on their phones. And so the photos of this size need to be wonderful and very clear and make a lot of sense. Recent post-COVID statistics indicate that 93% of home buyers judge a home by their online photos. So I tell people there's a lot of things that make sense once you're in the house, but a lot of times art with words on it or gallery walls where you see lots of little things, it is very confusing to the eye in the small photos. 15 seconds to make a first impression. So that's a new statistic we found this summer, that people make a decision on whether or not they want to visit your home in 15 seconds. Isn't that incredible? So 3 swipes and you're out. So what if they swipe through a gray living room, a gray empty bedroom, a gray empty dining room? Well, that's boring. We want them to linger longer on your listing. So I always say pictures are worth 1,000 words. So what are your current thoughts on this listing? What does this speak to the house? Your eye doesn't know where to land. It's overwhelmed. You think, gosh, if they have this much stuff on the walls, did they ever clean the HVAC? What about the irrigation system? Do you see the beautiful fireplace or the great accent wood wall? No, this is actually a current listing in the DFW area. So what does this say? Do you think many people that want the light, bright and white would linger on this house? I don't think so. Well, I'm going to buzz through a couple of photos of some before and afters. The one on the left is actually how a client lived. This wasn't their packing. This is how they lived. They had a desk in their living room and office. This is how they lived in this particular living room. So this was on a Thursday, and the one on the left was on a Friday. And so this is a matter of 24 hours. That's what this house looked like once we got it packed up. Same way, this was their spare bedroom, which was used as another office. We cleared it out and made it a nice office. And this homeowner didn't want to stage the stacked living, formal living dining because he didn't want to spend a few $100s. But look how nicely this nice little sitting area played well against the dining room. Same way with this bedroom. This couple said, oh, we've got a bed. We don't have matching lights or nightstands, but look what the symmetry of matching furniture does in a bedroom. The en-suites and the primary bedrooms and the kitchens, as you know, are what sells a home. So I always put a lot of emphasis on those areas. And this was a recent condo in Dallas, and the seller wanted to sell as is. She said, I'm, 80 years old. I don't want to fuss with this. But just with painting and staging, she invested $9,000. So 6,500 of it was staging. It was painting, and 2,500 was my staging. And she got invested 9,000, got multiple over ask offers in just 2 days, and settling with 20K over list was already factored.
All right, guys, that kind of gives you an idea. We're going to just, for time purposes, go on to the next slide and talk more about our stuff. But feel free to reach
Good morning,
out.
everyone.
Oh, hang on.
We're going to
Feel
have
free
to
to reach out
record
to
our special
Jeanette.
guest this week. She's not going to be able.
And you get off that slide. And feel free to reach out to Jeanette, like I have her contact information here. You can text her. I have an email for her. There's not one on this slide. So if you want to email her, I certainly have it. You can go to her website and check it out. She's a fascinating lady, very good. You guys almost had a comedy show. When we started doing her presentation, we were doing it over Zoom, and she'd start talking, and then all of a sudden the audio would cut out. And so I could see the pictures, but I couldn't hear her anymore. And we had this problem 2 and 3 times. And so at one point I finally decided, what the heck, she can't hear me, I can't hear her. I'll just talk over what she's trying to show, and let's see how I do describing her slideshow presentation. And it was actually, I did pretty good, but it was kind of funny because I had no clue how to talk about her business. So, you got to kind of fly by the seat of your pants sometimes. Me, I step in and do whatever I can. And so that was fun. But if you want to see her whole video, I have it here for you. Cost wise, if you're doing a one Lux product, I highly recommend that you have that property professionally staged. But cost wise, her quote that her rates that she gave me starts as little as $200 for an hour consultation, I think it was. And then it goes up if you do a whole house, an empty house, furniture for the whole house. It was like almost $2,000, $1,950 or something like that. So it's not really cost prohibitive. Now, I don't believe that covers any additional painting or anything along those lines. That's mainly for the staging items and her services. So if you have a property that's not selling, if you have a property that you think's going to show better or is a luxury situation, definitely reach out to Jeanette, talk to her. She will be your best advocate on this. What I recommend, and what she recommended as well, was you just bring it up to your client as, we have somebody, it's a professional stager and a designer. I'd love to provide her with your contact information or set up an appointment where we can all get together and meet and have her tell you about her services. And I think it would be a great return on investment for you to utilize her services. And then quote some statistics like she had there, 73% higher value and stuff like that. So talk to her and get her out there. Let her be the bad guy. Let her be the one to say, oh, those animal heads have to go. Because you don't want to upset your clients. You want to keep them, you let somebody else do that type of stuff. Bring her in. She'll tell them declutter, declutter, declutter. That one home that had all the stuff on the walls, I would say you need to get rid of about 2/3 of that stuff. And that seemed to be about what she did. So let her go out, let her do her magic, see if your client's interested. You can arrange her services however you want. If you want to pick up the initial $200 consultation for the first hour, and then have your clients, take care of the rest of the cost, that's totally fine. If you want to just make the introduction, let your clients know that there are charges involved. And the initial consultation is $200 and have them pay for everything. That's totally fine as well. That is all up to you how you want to set it up. And everyone's going to want to set it up differently. So that is our little advance today. And I'm going to get out of this because it's going to start talking again. All right, let's go on with our class. Okay, our affirmation for the day. I love real estate industry and I am proud to achieve the great American dream of home ownership. That's what most people want, is the American dream of home ownership. So I got a little bar here I need to get rid of there because it's driving me crazy. So that's what we do, and that's what we need to talk about. On the RevUP model today, we're doing winning the listing and negotiating the sale. Next week, we're going to have closing the sale and creating clients for life. That's another very good module. So please, let's finish up strong on this and get everyone doing. We ran out of time last week, so we did not do it, but we had some homework. And I know there's only a few of us here, so Mario can't talk. He's in court right now. But let me pick on, and Lily probably can't talk. She's at work. Let me pick on Craig since he's the one that's available. Craig, did you do your homework from last week? I'm guessing no. All right. These assignments are very important to y'all. So, okay.
No, I did, but no, I didn't do my homework. I apologize. I kind of forgot about it.
Well, shame on you. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. The last question.
A partner. We talked about that last week.
Yep.
That was one of the things we needed to do.
Yep. That's going to be the next slide. Okay, if the person closest to you said you were an animal, what animal would you be?
Now I remember.
What do you think?
I thought about that the day we did it. I couldn't come up with anything, and then I forgot about it. So I guess I'm not that creative to.
Well, I'll help you. I've been given multiple answers to this for people close to me, but usually it's something strong, like a lion or my husband says I'm pig-headed like a mule. He's given me that one before. And that just shows my tenacity and my how strong I am and how I just keep on it. I'm like a dog with a bone. And so there's no right or wrong answer on these, but put some thought into these and, figure what your best asset is. We still have a quarter left. We're getting to the final quarter of 2023. So make sure you select one goal and let's see if we can't achieve that by the end of the quarter. And it can be something simple. It can be setting up your database. It could be putting together a new business plan for next year. It can be, a million things. It can be, sitting down with me and reviewing what you're doing and how you're doing. It could be something very simple. It can be very elaborate. I don't care. But let's just take some time and do it. I recommend these things for you guys. These are tools that will help you grow and help your business grow. So, they're kind of fun to talk about, but yeah, these are tools that help you. So it's very important that you do them. Okay, accountability partners, Mario, Angelo, and Angelica were the only ones that got back to me with that. So they are accountability partners. They are doing a great job on that. And I think they also throw Catherine in on that as well. But very, very good. They work together well. They hold each other accountable. They're helping each other out. I love seeing that. So it's very important that you have an accountability partner. All right, let's move on to module 12, learning objectives of this. We're going to talk about the listing appointment. We're going to talk about tips for winning the seller and securing the listing. We're going to talk about marketing and servicing the listing. We're going to talk about negotiating the sales. There's no magic recipe on this. These are things that you're going to have to figure out. Either role playing with somebody, talking to somebody, sitting down with me and doing a mock appointment, something along those lines. practice is what's going to help you get these things to the point where you're good at them. Listing tools. Okay. A lot of people were asking me, and I think this has changed, so I'm sorry if it has. But I already put the slide together before I logged in. On your zone and your one login under zone, listing presentations used to be on the left side down towards under marketing. I think they've changed that now. So if it's not there, let me know and I'll help you find it. But this is where you used to be able to find your listing presentation. And then the middle one, the 2020 new listing presentation that I highlighted in green there, that is the one you want. The vertical presentation, it's really hard to get that set up. And so it's blocked right and looks good. Things get cut off. And so I don't recommend the vertical one at all. So do the 2020 new listing presentation. I believe they are working on a new one because this is a couple years old. But for now, this is what we have. So go in there. It's a PowerPoint presentation. You can customize it to you. You can eliminate pages. You can add stuff in. It's up to you how you want to customize this. I do not use the full presentation. I will select pages and just, use certain pages. I customize it to me. So keep that in mind. It's fully customizable. Do what you want on that. You can add stuff to it, take stuff away. Just make sure you have something so that when you go out to do a listing presentation, you have it. Conduct a listing presentation, present the marketing and pricing strategies. They recommend this kind of in a little different order than I do. I talk about pricing at the very end of my presentation instead of at the beginning. And I also do my walkthrough of the home. I've not seen their home and I let them know this information was provided with me not seeing your home yet. So please keep in mind, we can adjust up or we can adjust down based on what I see now that I'm here. I would love you to walk me through the house at the end of my presentation, and I will take some detailed notes, and then we'll sit down again and talk more about if I feel the price is good as is, or if it needs to be adjusted. And I always do a price range. I never give them this is what your house is going to sell for. It's going to be somewhere between here and here. So make sure that you're right there and going through all of that stuff with them. The greeting, outline your presentation. Again, I do the home tour at the end. The presentation, the marketing, and the pricing, and then closing your listing. And always, always, always ask for the business. If you don't ask, you're not going to get an opportunity to ask again, maybe. So make sure you're asking for the business. And that's something that comes with practice as well. As you're doing your home tour, it's talking about tour and connecting with the client. Ask a lot of questions of your clients. Utilize the top 10 favorite tools in my home. Find out from them, when you originally purchased the home, what was it that made you decide to buy this home? I'm sure you looked at several. What was it that made you buy this home? And they'll tell you, they'll be proud to tell you. They may say, oh, I really loved how quiet the backyard was. It's the perfect size. It's not too big to mow. It's just exactly. Well, that helps you on your marketing. If it attracted your current client, maybe it'll attract your next buyer. So use whatever they say. Take notes on what they tell you. Involve them in the information gathering process. Ask them, if you had to, if you could change 3 things in your home, what would they be? What are 3 things now that you've lived here that you may have liked originally and you don't like them anymore, or you're not as happy and thrilled as you thought you'd be with them? And take notes down on that. Just ask a ton of questions and make sure they're open-ended questions. We want to draw them and make them part of the information gathering process. On your marketing presentation, your listing presentation, sell yourself and your company first. That's why I sit down at the table with them and say, before we talk numbers, let me tell you a little bit about me and my company. And then I get right into it. And I have a bio there. I have a bio that I keep with the listing packet I'm going to leave for my clients, or you can mail that out in advance. A lot of agents do that. Hey, I'm going to mail you some information. It's a pre-listing package. It talks about me. It gives you samples of contracts. And so you know what to expect. Please take a few minutes and review it prior to our appointment and get it set up. Now, if you talk to them today and you have a listing appointment tomorrow, that's not going to work. You don't have enough time to get it to unless you overnight it. So if you did not send it overnight, just take a few minutes and go through and say, okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, but I've also put a full bio in your package that I'm going to leave for you. Take some time and review the bio. It talks about, my background, where I came from, what my skill set is. It tells you a lot of information about myself and how I came to be in the real estate industry. And then lead with your value. What value can you bring to the process? I've got 18 years experience in real estate. I've done this multiple times. I love helping families find their dream home, or helping sellers get the most value out of their home. Help the buyer think, or the seller think like a buyer. Tell them and make a joke out of it. Say, hey, I need you to do me a favor. I need to put your buyer hat on for a minute. We're going to go over some stuff, and I need you to think like a buyer. If you were walking into your home for the first time, what would you want to look at? What would you want to address? How would you look at it differently than you do as a seller? And get them thinking about that. Find out, are there, what's the curb appeal like? And let them know, and walk them through that and say, when you first pull up, what's your curb appeal like? People make a decision in the matter of seconds. The first house I looked at down here in Texas, I didn't even want to go in the door because I didn't like the look of it outside. It had zero curb appeal. It had the front entry garage, and that's all you saw was the garage. And I just did not like it. Funny story, I ended up buying that house. Once I had a friend of mine, when I went back to Seattle, she was working with my real estate agent and viewing homes for me. She went in the home and I did not. And she went in and she called me and she goes, oh my God, this is the perfect house for you. You need to put an offer on this house. And I submitted an offer blindly with a condition that when I came to town, I had the opportunity to view the home and make sure that I liked it. It was written in as a special provision in the contract because I was not scheduled to come back to Texas for a few weeks. And I wanted to make sure I liked the house. And it was the one that I thought was so ugly from the outside. But Twyla went in and she said, it's perfect for you. And it was a really nice home. So you make rash judgments just from the outside. So make sure you explain that to them and share my story if you'd like, because that's a good story. I hated that house. I didn't even want to walk in the front door. And actually their front door is a side entry door, and that made it even worse. And so make sure that you share with them all of these details. They need to make the curb appeal as appealing as possible. The only good thing it had going for it, it had a cute little tree out front with some flowers around that tree and a hedge that led you to the door. That was the best part of the house from the front. So, make sure that they're thinking like a buyer. When you present the pricing strategies, discuss the months in inventory. Let them know our current inventory in months is, and share that with them. Talk about days on the market. Talk about cumulative days on the market. Talk about price per square foot and how you came up with numbers. Present the competition. I have done this in the past and I don't do it so much anymore. But I have actually suggested to my sellers that let's schedule a day and an hour, 2 hours, whatever time frame, and go visit the competition. Let's see who in your neighborhood has a listing right now, and let's go look at the houses and see what your competition is. Take them out and show them what the homes on the market are in their neighborhood. Talk to them about the best way to stage their home if they're not using a professional stager, what the best thing is they can do to stage their home to make it look like the competition and sell quickly. Listing process. This slide is a little bit confusing. You're asking price in relation to your market value. If you are 15% over your list price, over market value right now, you have a 10% potential to sell of people looking at the property. Only 10%. If they're 10% over what the market value is right now, they have a 30% chance of people wanting to look at the house. If you are at market value, that raises to 60%. So it's really important to price their homes properly. Now look at this. If you're just slightly under, you're 10% under market value, you have 75% chance of people wanting to see the property. You're at 15% under, you have a 90% chance. Now, just because you're under market value is not a bad thing, and explain this to your sellers. Let's create a feeding frenzy. The statistics here show that if we are under market value, you get a lot more people interested in viewing the property and looking at the property. Let's try to get as many people in as we can. Let's try to instigate a bidding war. If we have 75% of the people, more people looking at it than that 10% less, let's price it 10% under market value and see if we can't get more people in. The bad thing is, and you need to explain this to your sellers as well, if we list under market value and it could backfire on us, it's possible that, we're expecting more people and maybe a bidding war, but it's possible that nobody wants to put an offer in on it, and so you've priced it slightly under value. You may not get market value, but that's where the negotiating process comes in. And especially if people are asking for a lot of things, if you're 10% under market value and a buyer comes to you, a listing agent brings you, or a buyer's agent brings you a buyer, and they say, we're going to give you list price, but we want you to pay title, and we want you to do closing costs, and we want you to do blah, 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 then you need to come back and counter offer on that and talk to your clients about that and let them know, okay, I understand you're at list price. However, we're under market value. We priced that way intentionally to get a good viewing rate on this. And now you're asking for a whole bunch of things. If you would like us to pay for title and pay for closing costs and pay for this and that and whatever, we gladly do it. However, we're going to need to increase the price of the home. We're under market value according to the CMA, so there should not be a problem with the appraisal, but we would like your offer to come up 10% or whatever to market value. And so that's how you handle that. Go slightly under market value. Right now it's a dangerous market to take that. I'd stick with at market value because we're not getting a lot of buyers right now, and the ones we're getting are kind of particular. So try to keep it as close to market value, but as the market changes, be cognizant of what the market is doing and how you advise your clients. If you need me to talk it through with you, I'll gladly do it. But when we have a seller's market, certainly look at reducing or going under market value to increase the number of buyers in and get a higher price. So that's one strategy. And here's just kind of weeks on the market compared to listing price. If you're below listing price, your weeks on the market are very low. if you are high, you're going to have a what is that, 2 to 4 weeks, which is a lot longer of your time on the market. So price it correctly at the get-go and try to make your clients understand. All your sellers have a number in their mind. And I asked them during my presentation, one of the first things I ask them is, do you have, I'm sure you have a magic number in your mind that you think your home is worth. Would you mind sharing that with me? And then write it down, whatever they say. They could say, oh, it's a $450,000 house. Well, reality is it's only a $420,000 house. So your job just got made a little harder. But you can overcome that and just point out different facts and statistics to them. If they say, and I had this happen several times, several years ago, I had this cute couple, bless their hearts. They insisted to me that their house was not worth $102,000 in downtown McKinney. And this was like back in 2012 or so. And it was not worth $102,000. After all, it's a 1950s house and it's kind of quirky and they haven't done much work to it and this and that and whatever. And so they wanted to list it at $92,000. That's what they felt the value was. So, well, we can certainly do that, but my job is to get the most value for you and the highest price. And so, if that's where you want to start, remember, it's hard to go up. You can always come down. I would recommend we start at the 102 and come down as necessary. But if you want to start the 92, that's totally fine. Well, we got in just a matter of days. I mean, I'm talking 3 to 5 days. We got 22 offers on this property. The lowest offer was $98,500. A cash investor came in on that. And the highest was $120,000. And I had like 6 or 8 people that were offering $120,000. And so we had to go through individually each offer. And we did not select the 120,000. And I'll tell you why. We did not select the $120,000 offer because they were cash offers, or they were not cash offers. They were going to have to be financed offers. And we did not feel it would appraise for that. And then we'd have an issue with, okay, who's going to pay the balance? Are they going to try to come back and renegotiate? And so we went with one of the offers that was in the middle, about $110,000, $111,000. And it was another realtor. My client accidentally met them when she came to view the property for the first time. My clients were just leaving. And so they'd spent a few minutes and talked. And so when we went and were looking at the offer, all the offers, all 22 of them, my client said, we met that one agent and she seems to stick out in our mind. I know her price is not the highest. I think her original price was right around 108 or 106 or something like that. She goes, could we go back to her and ask her to come up on her price to what everyone else is at, around the 111? I said, absolutely. And so I called the agent and I said, good news, bad news. We've got 22 offers is the bad news. I go, but my clients really like you and they really want to work with you. However, they need to know if you can improve your offer a little bit. Could you come up to $111,000? And her response was absolutely. And we closed on the property 30 days later. So make sure that you prepare them. If they think their house isn't worth as much, let them know. According to the market, it is worth a little more than what you're considering. We can always come down on the price. We can't come up. So let's go ahead and list it close to market value or slightly under market value and see what happens. Be patient with these people. A lot of times they think their homes are worth a lot more than what they are. That's standard. And well, if I can't get $450,000, I'm not going to sell. Well, that's all right. But have you considered you've owned the house for 10 years, 7 years, whatever the length is, you have built equity. Have you had, done any home improvement loans? Have you taken any money out? Anything along those lines? So you have an enormous amount of equity if the answer is no on those. And ask them, what would that additional money do for you? Even if we can't sell for $450, if we can only sell it for $430, what is that extra money that you have in equity on the property going to mean to your family? And have the, change their lines of thinking and have them, oh, well, if I can get $430 and I have $80,000 in equity, that means I can afford more on our new home. And have them start thinking in that way, change their direction of thinking, and encourage questions, encourage discussions. Ask them why do you feel the value is $450,000? And then have them tell you, take notes about what they're saying, and then go back and in a nice, polite way, never talk bad about their home, or any decisions they've made in their home, but just say, some of the competition has a few other things that you do not have, and that's going to bring your value down. You have not updated the kitchen or the bathrooms in the time you've owned the property. Other properties have. That's going to get a lower net process for you. If you would like to consider doing some upgrades, we can certainly do that. It's going to delay your listing time, but we can consider doing that, and then you'd be able to get the higher price. So encourage them, include their decisions include them in the decision-making progress. Just kind of hold their hand and walk them through the whole thing. You've reviewed their motivations, their timing, their concerns. You've discussed your qualifications, the market information, the buyers, the competition. You presented the supply research, the pricing ability, the comparable homes. Now it is time to secure the listing agreement and set the price on their home, and present the target marketing plan. So just kind of go through with these things. I ask people as we're going through and before I start a new section, are there any questions you may have up to this point that I can answer? And then just kind of give them a minute or two to kind of think. And before we proceed, I'd love to answer any questions you have at this point. If you don't have any questions, that's totally fine. We'll go ahead and move forward and have them tell me, well, I really would like to know blah, 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 or nope, I am good. I understand what we're talking about. And then talk about the condition, the access of your home, how you work into it, and what the pricing is. Set all of those things up with these people. Ask for their business. Like I say, I've told you guys before, when I worked at Northwest Airlines back in the day, I was a reservations agent, and they were huge on asking for the business. And we were recorded on every conversation that we had. We were timed on every conversation we had. You had to have a 240-second sales call or phone call on average. And so you were praying that people were just calling and asking for FLIFO, which is flight information. What time is flight 593 coming in? You were hoping you got those calls because that reduced your talk time. And it figured into your averages. So you could spend more time on those that were spending money. But go over and ask for the business. I swore up and down I was asking for the business until they played back my conversation with a client on the phone. And I'm like, I didn't ask for the business. I thought I was asking for the business. But once I heard myself, I'm like, I didn't ask the business. And so make sure that you're asking for the business and asking in a way that they understand. Be blunt about it. I think that I can sell your home. I'm very good at what I do. I have years of experience within my brokerage, and I am confident that we can do this. Can we have your listing? Just flat out ask them, can we have your business? I would love working with you. I think we'd have fun. I would like to get started right away. do I have your permission to go ahead and schedule for the photographers to come out and this, that, whatever, and send you the actual contract to sign. I used to take contracts out and I'd handwrite them in. I don't do that anymore. It takes too much time. I'd pre-fill as much information as I could and then just fill it out at the end. What I do now is I take a sample contract out. I briefly go over what is going to be on the contract. And I say, I'm going to send this to you electronically. I'll have it all filled out. It'll be professionally filled out. It'll be typed so everyone can read it. And there's no questions about things. And just let them know, I'm going to send it to you via DocuSign. You can sign it electronically. It'll come right back to me once all parties have signed. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And then that lets your seller know you're assertive. You got a can-do attitude. You're fearless. Get out there and show these people that you can do this, because you can. I have no doubt in my mind that any one of you can go out and sell a house. You just have to believe it. I believe in you. You have to believe in yourself. So make sure you're asking for the business. Demonstrate to them that you possess the qualities that they are looking for in a listing agent. And then I include in my packet of information that I leave out with my clients, I include instructions for when the photographer comes out. And I let them know I have instructions here on what to do, what the photographer is asking. And I just took a list one of my photographers in the past has given me, and I include it with my packet. And, you know, you need to have all lights on in the house. You need to have your blinds in this direction. You need to have this, that, and whatever. And it's 2 pages, I believe. And it's quite detailed on what they need to do. And just let them know if you can help the photographer out, it'll go very quickly and get it done. Get your signatures on everything. You know, here it talks about filling out as much paperwork in advance, and handling your paperwork electronically. Now, there are 2 different strategies and theories on this, and I've worked with both. Some brokerages believe that you should have automatic price reductions, and will write it into their listing agreement. I don't necessarily believe that, but I do talk to my clients and go, you know, we're going to list it at this. And if they want to go slightly over list price, if they're one of those that feel their home is worth more than it really is, I'll let them know, you know, I'm fine going slightly over. Just keep in mind, that's going to reduce the number of people potentially that will view the property in the first few weeks. I will go ahead and list it over what I'm recommending, but I need you to commit to me that if we do not have a lot of showings in the first week or 10 days or whatever time period you give them, that we are going to reduce the price on the property by $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is. Have an automated price reduction set, and talk about, you know, the longer it sits on the market, the more stale it gets. People wonder what's wrong with the property. And so it's very important to price it right from the get-go, and not have to worry about price reductions. I would rather price it correctly to start and not do a price reduction than to have to do a price reduction once a week for 4 weeks to get it down to where it needs to be. So explain that to them. Do your magic number script. There's a script in 1U that talks about the magic number to sell your property, and review that and bring in some of that information, and then negotiating the sale. Make sure that you involve your clients in. I have them set up on, I use CSS. A lot of you are using Broker Bay, and I don't know if Broker Bay has the same opportunity as CSS does, but I can have my clients receive the feedback emails as they come in from other agents, the showing agents. And so I have it sent to my client automatically. That way I don't have to send it to them. But if you don't have it set up that way, send them a report and ask them, you know, I'm going to do a showings report and a seller report for you. How frequently would you like to receive that? And then write down their answer. If they're like, once a week is fine, once every 2 weeks is fine, you know, just as things come up, that's fine. Write down what their preference is. And then ask them, you know, and we don't do it as much anymore. It used to be a practice where when you showed a house, you left a business card on the counter for the seller, so they were aware somebody was in their house. I thought it was a good practice. People don't do it so much anymore. We might want to consider doing that. Just an option for you guys. Leave your business card for your seller. And if any of the people showing the property, if any of the listing agents leave a business card, or happen to call you off the sign, or I've had people stop by when they were working in the front yard and ask them questions, just let them know. We'd be happy to answer your question, but I need you to call my realtor. Their number's on the sign, or I can give it to you, or whatever. And then as they're collecting business cards that are left at the house, have them either email you, text you, call you and say, this card was left at my house. Here's the contact information. And then you can follow up with those people. You don't want your sellers following up with them. You need to be the one following up, but your seller can provide you the information. And that makes them feel like they're involved in everything. If you put a flyer box out, have them let you know when it's nearly empty, or give them extra flyers so they can restock the box. You know, just simple things. It involves them in the process, makes them feel important. You know, if somebody calls you and says, oh, this property is listed way over price, blah, 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 blah. Stay professional. Don't defend the price. Just report, you know, we went with the market analysis. We feel that we priced it according to the current market conditions. And be cautious of what information you reveal. If a listing agent calls you and starts asking you questions, make sure that you're very cautious about what you reveal, and you aren't revealing personal information that your seller does not or may not want to be shared, because that's a huge no-no. You know, there's information that's private, and unless our clients authorize us to tell them, we can't tell them. So make sure you consider all of that and keep that in mind. Okay, you receive an offer. Now what? You need to contact the seller when the offer comes in and actually arrives. A lot of agents will call you or text you or email you and say, I'm going to be submitting an offer. Don't jump the gun. Do not call your seller and say, okay, we're going to be getting an offer. That gets their hopes up. If that offer does not come in, now they're disappointed. So wait until you physically have that offer in hand or in your inbox, and then reach out to your seller and let them know, okay, we've got an offer. I have two ways that I can present this to you. We can either do it in person, or I can send it to you via email or electronically. Which would you prefer? It used to be we presented in person, not so much these days. And then, so if you're going to do an email, I included a sample of how I present offers if my clients want it via email, and it's going to be on the next couple of slides. But a net proceeds sheet, you can do a net proceeds sheet on any of the title company apps. They have them. In MLS, there is a net sheet that you can provide for either a buyer or a seller. And basically what the net sheet, I'm sorry, there's a fly flying around me, I'm swatting at it. Basically what the net sheet tells is what the offer price is, less any expenses or estimated expenses that your client is going to have. And that provides them the net, what they're going to walk away with. When I do a net sheet, I overestimate on some costs because I don't know exact costs. And so if title's going to be, if the seller is paying for the title policy, the buyer's title policy, the owner's title policy, I will put, depending on the value of the house, 1% of whatever the offer price is should be close, and then I'll maybe bump it $500. And so that gives you a little bit of a cushion. I would much rather tell my clients, you're going to get $2,500 or $25,000, and at closing table, they're getting $30,000, then I would have it be the other way around. So I overestimate on my expenses for these people so that I'm in the ballpark, but not quite right. Now, when I submit an offer electronically to my clients, I will do an email, and I do my general openings. Hey, we received an offer, wanted to go over it with you. I hope everything's going well. Here is the breakdown of what they are offering. And then I list out every single thing: purchase price with a down payment, the 5% down payment, and then what they're financing, the type of loan it is. I get into detail on everything, who the earnest money, who they want to use as their title company, who's paying for the title and endorsements, the shortages, using the existing survey, or if they need a new one, who's covering that cost, home warranty. And this is an old number, $499. That's probably about a 3-4-year-old home warranty, but and this was closing in 2018, so it's a little longer than that even. So I detail out everything, 21 days on their financing to obtain financing, 14 days to get the HOA to them, buyer to pay $50 on the HOA transfer, non-realty item buyer would like to include at no cost: the storage shed, the child's playset in the backyard, the refrigerator, and the bar stools. List all of that stuff. The seller needed a lease back, and so I break out they're willing to do a lease back at no fee until September 3rd, and then they're going to charge $250 per day. Pets currently on the premises are good. Detail everything and be very specific on this. And then I went and put, these are fairly standard things. A few things I would like to address with you, and then I went into what they are. There are only 3 of them, but I went into what they are and what my concerns were, and so and let them know I'm going to put together a net proceeds sheet for you in the morning. I haven't had time to do it right now. I want to get this over to you right away, and we'll talk again, or call me in the morning and we can discuss this further. And that's just how I've done it. It's very effective. Like I said, tell you guys all the time, you are going to have to come up with something that works for you. This works for me. My clients know me. They know I'm very detail oriented, and this is how I work. And so I go into very specifics with them, and I follow up with them. So once you have an offer, now you need to start negotiating and find the win-win solution for everyone. Help the sellers understand the price and the terms, and everything there. Do your checklist for everyone. Every single title company out there will do, and I forget what it's called, a important date sheet for you, I think it's called. And basically it is a checklist of important dates. Your option and earnest money need to be in by this date. Your survey needs to be in by this date. You need to have HOA information by this, and they will detail every single thing. If you are at a point where you can afford to hire a transaction coordinator, hire a transaction coordinator. Have them follow up and maintain all these dates and make sure everyone's doing what they should do. Communicate with your client frequently during this phase. They need to know what's going on, and remind them of what you are doing in the background, and let them know. Now that we've got inspections done, we're through the option period, we're going to be moving forward. You may not hear from me as frequently. However, I will be in the background coordinating with title and the buyer's agent, and doing all these things, making sure the survey's in. So you may not hear me as hear from me as frequently as you have. But if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me and I will touch base periodically. You know, daily communication is the norm on when you're in your option phase. It doesn't go so much once you're out of option. It's maybe, you know, once every couple days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever, depending on the situation and how quickly you're closing. As things come up, you'll communicate, but it won't be every day. You know, start thinking about your thank you gift. I always provide a thank you gift and I present it to my clients at closing. And consider something that's gonna last for a long time. A lot of people do, and on buyers, you can have separate gifts for buyers versus sellers. On buyers, a lot of people will do like maybe a welcome mat with their name and established and put the date that they closed on the property. Yeah, that takes a little more effort because you have to have those printed and detailed, or do cutting boards with their name and that type of thing. So you can do those, or you can just do something traditional. I have a good friend of mine. She actually would get a bottle of wine and then she'd make labels, and it would have Greenbelt Realty is her company, and she, you know, red wine courtesy of Greenbelt Realty, and then have her name and her phone number. So every time they drank from that wine, they'd think of her. You know, I usually do different things. And if they have children, I'll include something for the kids, maybe. I've done like little watermelon popsicle things for kids. I've done for pets. I've done water dishes for pets or a feeding dish for a pet. And I usually do something along the lines of a, depending on what time of year it is, I'll do a throw blanket. And maybe a big bowl that they can use on their entry table, kind of a catch-all bowl for keys and whatever. Do a decorative bowl so they can put it there, something along those lines. And I spend, depending upon the value of the transaction, I spend starting at $50 and going up from there. And you know, just do what you feel is right. If a lot of people like gift cards, I'm not a gift card person. I've got gift cards right now that are losing me money because I was given gift cards and I don't use them. So I've got two that have probably lost 5% of their value because I never went and used them. So I need to get into those stores and do it. So I'm not a big gift card. I think it's impersonal on a gift card. I don't necessarily like them. But there's a time and a place for it. If they're referring business to you, a gift card's an easy option, and do that. Now, also remember to ask for your feedback. You know, how did I do? What could I have done better? What did I do extremely well? Those are all very important things. And ask and tell them, I'm going to shoot you an email and I'm going to request that you give me some feedback. And put in the email and say, you know, I so enjoyed working with you. And I do a gift, a thank you card with my gift for these people. And I let them know it was such a pleasure working with you. I really enjoyed it. I wish you success and best of luck in your home. If you ever have any needs in the future, please consider calling me. Or if you know of anybody that is going to be buying or selling or having a real estate transaction coming up, please refer them to me and ask for them. Ask for your video testimonials. We've talked about this before. When you are at closing, there's always some downtime between when your clients have finished signing your paperwork and when the title representative comes back in with their packet of signed paperwork for them. They've gone, they've made copies of everything, and they're big documents. And so while your title rep is back doing that, ask your clients, you know, we're going to have a little bit of time here. Could we do a short 15 to 30 second video testimonial on how I did? I would really appreciate it. It would help me out significantly. And most people are going to say yes. Some people are going to say no. And if they say no, go, I totally understand. I kind of put you on the spot. But if I send you the link to my Google page, could you do a review for me? They'll generally say yes to that. And then after the sale, you want to set up a system that is automated to follow up. And you find out, if there are any questions or anything that needs to be done after the fact, set up your calls, your texts, your monthly newsletters, have these people set up in your CRM so they automatically get notifications. Market updates, if they have an anniversary or a birthday, or if their kids have a birthday, a special event. You should know all of those information by the time you've finished and closed on their property. You should have gotten to know them well enough that you have all of that. And then just send them reminders. Happy anniversary. Here's anniversary card, just whatever. Send them a birthday card. Hit them on social media, invite them to your social media, and then stay in touch with them on social media. I have several clients of mine that I don't talk to them every day or every month or whatever, but we communicate through social media considerably. And I can keep up on what's happening in their life that way. And if I notice, if one of them says that they're going to have a child, congratulations. Are we going to need to have a conversation about, increasing the size of your home? And that's an opportunity for you. So make sure that you're following up with these people. And of course, we're getting close to the end here. So your one habit, you need to make 3 calls to people you know, 3 calls to people you don't know, and send them 6 note cards. Grow your business. That will help significantly. Thank y'all. I really appreciate you. I know we're kind of low today on our attendance, but that's fine. Don't forget, if you missed any RevUP classes in this series, they're uploaded in 1U, or last week's I did not upload to 1U because it was already in the system in 1U from last year. And so I put that one on my YouTube page. Or you can always just email me and ask me for the link. I'll send you the link. To get credit for completing all 12 classes, you have to participate or watch either the video or be here in person. So make sure that you've got all of them. I think I've got everyone down. And then if you missed any classes and want your certificate, just let me know and we'll get you that certificate. Does anybody have any questions for me, concerns? I know we go over a lot of information at these. Craig, anything?
Nope. Very good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Lily probably can't talk, and Mario probably can't talk, so I'm not going to call on them.
I'm good.
Oh, okay. Any questions, Mario?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All righty. Well, get out there and let's make a difference. Don't forget, I am working on, and I'm kind of 2/3 of the way there. Next Wednesday, FC Dallas at Toyota Stadium in Frisco. Their game, they have opened up the game to offices. And so they reached out to me. I'm a season ticket holder. They reached out to me and said, if you would like tickets for your office, let us know how many tickets you would like, and we will put you in a drawing and see if we can accommodate you. We're going to select 50 businesses. And so
How many tickets?
I asked for 20 tickets, and I have 2 tickets already because I'm a season ticket holder. So we've got a possibility of 22 tickets. They've said that we qualify on round 1, and they will let me know by tomorrow, which is Friday, if we qualify for receiving the tickets. So if you guys want tickets, I've got 22 tickets total that hopefully we'll be getting. I'll know more tomorrow. They get sent to me electronically through their app, and I'll have to get them out to y'all. Parking is not included. I have one parking pass that comes with my season tickets. So if some of us want to, they're free, Lily. If some of us want to carpool together, I can probably fit 6 people total in my car. And
When
so
is
that'll,
it?
and pardon?
When is gonna be the game?
It is next Wednesday, which I believe is October 4th. And it's against the Colorado Rapids. They're doing a $3 $3 beer and a $1 hot dog night that night.
At what time?
So it should be fun. I'm hoping that I can get us all in there. You know, free is my favorite price. And so when I saw the opportunity to get free tickets, I thought of y'all. I go, we need to make an office event. So we are going, hopefully, I will know for sure tomorrow. So kind of do a save the date on your calendar. And the game starts at 7:30.
7:30, okay.
I figure we'll probably go over about 6:30. That way you can get parking and get situated, have a hot dog and a beer and find our seats.
Well, put me down
So-
for 4.
Put you down for 4. Okay.
Thank you.
And I think that is it right now. I told you guys I did hear from Michael. He's doing well at Latitude. I think Melissa might be with him, but I'm not 100%. I haven't heard from her. Okay, so I got Lily too. Okay, you just need one, Lily?
Yes, it's just
Okay.
me.
Perfect. All righty. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get awarded all these tickets and we can make a big office event, go have some fun. We need some fun.
Yay.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys go out there, sell. If you have any questions or need me for anything, I'm here at the office. It's been really quiet at the office with everyone gone. So come visit me if you can. Or if you need me to set up a Zoom call with you, I'll certainly do that as well. So have a good week. And just get out there and do your magic. So talk to y'all later.
Thank you.
Thanks for now.
You're welcome.